Hello everyone, this is Charlotte and this is a podcast called Chatting in Cars. It's where I talk about random topics at length, and currently it's the weekend and I'm trying to catch up on my podcast, so we're not exactly driving to work, but we are driving. There is a disclaimer at the start of this podcast because I do talk about random topics and I do go on tangents and I do discuss sensitive topics as well, so if you don't want to hear that kind of stuff, I suggest you change the channel now. It's not up to me whether you decide to listen to this crap or not. And I do ramble about very opinionated crap, so you don't have to believe what I believe, obviously. No one can make you do something unless you let them make you do something. I do swear a lot. I like to swear. Some days it's the only thing stopping me from going on a rampage in true Archer style. I'm not going to say sorry for that. I enjoy it. I think you should take ownership for your actions, right? Okay, so the topic for today is pain. Oh my god, I'm looking at a woman who needs to get hit by a car. No, she's carrying like an armful of coffee, wearing Lululemons, you know the kind, on the phone, on the shoulder, crossing the road. Consequence. Anyway, so pain. Pain is not always a bad thing. I mean, you can take it from the grassroots up. Physical pain will teach you your boundaries, essentially. It'll tell you, you know what, you probably shouldn't stretch that far, or ouch, that hurt, or maybe we shouldn't do that again. It is a learning experience, obviously. It's the result of learning what's not right for you. Some people take it the wrong way. Some people are absolutely pain avoidant. Anyone who's been to the gym knows that pain serves a purpose, obviously, on a biological level. Pain will teach you your boundaries, or it will also teach you things you can push through in order to gain something. When we go to the gym, we learn about building muscle through basically, I'm trying to remember what it is. I think it's just the ripping of muscle tissue, actually, isn't it, that builds mass? It's trauma to the muscle, and so your body reacts by healing and reinforcing this muscle, and that's how you get size. And strength, obviously. The density of the muscle is strength. Pretty sure it's density. I could be wrong. Don't take me for gospel for that. Go and actually Google it. I've Googled a lot of shit. Even as a teacher, I Google everything. Just to be sure, because I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing here. But you know, that's what it is. It's like, obviously if you take it too far, like if you fucked up a ligament or something because you decided to do some weird weight or something, pain's going to teach you that was a stupid idea and let's not do it again. Or maybe we just hold back a little bit more next time, you know, alright? Fun bits of the gym. You know what I find fascinating the other day, and a bit stupid really, is like how much I know I'm over 30 now, because I'm 37. I'll be 38 in May. I went through my entire weight sessions, did all my sets, did all my stretching, got onto the treadmill just to do some walk and wander and read my book, and I fucked my neck. How the fuck did I fuck my neck on a treadmill, walking briskly? You know, it's like, what the fuck? And I'm talking about, like, my stretches are like a combination of calisthenics, yoga, Pilates. It's like I get to some interesting pretzel-y shapes just to stretch, because, you know, you develop your tolerance level. Once you stretched for too long, over too many years, you got a tolerance level, so you have to take it that little bit further. And I've been doing yoga since I was 17. I've been doing Pilates for the last God knows how many years, right? Calisthenics I've only just sort of introduced as well, because I need that extra stretching part, you know. But I get into some weird shapes, and I know it scares the other people. There's a demon girl over there, and she's contorting. Scares the shit out of the guys. I'm like, good, fuck off, stay away from me. But I thought it was fucking hilarious. I got right up to the end of after all that kind of weird shit, and it was walking that fucked my neck. I'm going, wait a minute, I've been doing this since I was like 2 years old. Come on, what the fuck? Possibly earlier, I don't know, I didn't keep track of that shit, but it was hilarious. So that was my body saying, you know, you did all this shit, but maybe it was walking was taking it too far, I don't know. That book, oh god damn that book, how dare you look down. I don't know, it's weird. My body said no that day, right at the end. So I slept funny that night, but it went away. My body healed, obviously. A bit of a strain. I didn't need to take Panadol or anything for it, which was a blessing. Last time I really fucked my neck, I had to find codeine from somewhere, and I don't. You need a prescription for it now in this country. I used to be able to get it over the counter. That's how long ago it was that I needed codeine, was I could just get it from a fucking Woolworths. It's like, I'll just have this. Now you need a prescription for it and a doctor's referral and shit like that, because people keep making it into stuff like, I think meth or something, I don't know. It's some kind of fucked up thing where they mix it with alcohol, I guess, or something, I don't know. But it sucks, because if you ever injure yourself, you can't get it readily. You need to first go and make an appointment, go see the doctor, then you get a referral, and then you got to go to find a chemist. And it's like, I used to just be able to walk straight into a Woolworths and get it and go. And people could buy it in mass. Like, my brother is constantly injuring himself just because he's old and unfit. Especially his neck and shoulders, he keeps fucking up. So he goes through Panadol and Nurofen and all kinds of shit really quickly. Plus, like, whatever it is that settles your stomach, I don't even know what it is. It's pink and powdery. I don't even know what that is. But it's purely because he stresses and he emotionally eats shit. And so he needs all this stuff to counteract the shit. It's bad habits, he knows it. I'm not going to nag him about it. He's old enough to know what he wants to do. But I would rather he asked he addressed the circumstances that are causing him to do the emotional eating. I'd rather look at it that way, because I'm more into, finding the preventative approach than finding the cure for something. I just think it's, it's probably easier than, treat the core problem, and then you won't have to deal with the after effects. You can, it's a ripple effect. Nip it in the bud. But some people avoid pain like crazy. They just avoid it. They hate it. They don't want anything to do with it. And that's not just physical pain, that's also emotional pain. If you ever listen to the podcast about the importance of silence and what other one I did, eventually you're going to be faced with your pain in one way or another. It's going to come. You don't get a choice. It's inevitable. That scares the shit out of people. It's like, I don't want to ever face with it. I'm going to keep burying it. I'm going to keep ignoring it. I'm going to find ways to band-aid solution it. I just want to cover it up and ignore it and not think about it. Eventually it comes out, and if it doesn't come out consciously, it's going to come out subconsciously. It's going to find a way to come out in your body. If you don't deal with mental issues, your body's going to break down. I mean, look at stress, for example. That stress could be something minor in the day. It sets you off. It triggers you. It could be what one person's minor issue is one person's major issue. People chewing, for example. Because I've got the autism, I've called it the autism now. I don't know. It's a separate entity. I'm carrying it along with me. Because it doesn't define me, really. It's fun to play with because it's part of me, yes, and I use it as a tool, but it's not who I am. It is a very interesting tool set. It's a skill set that helps me do a lot of things, like hyperfixation. Oh my god, it's so useful. My clinging to routines and things like that, very useful, particularly if I ever go into the army or anything like that, right? But again, it's a separate entity for me. It doesn't define me. I've got so much more to me than this particular way of doing things. It's a skill set. Some people see it as a disorder. I've yet to see it as a disorder because I just think it is skills that haven't been used in the right context yet. You think about those people who know copious amounts about Pokemon, for God's sake. Not me. I never went into that. My hyperfixation is more about making things or, Elizabethan history. All the weird fucking things you can hyperfixate on it. The royal family, for example. Although not so much today these days, because these guys give me the shit. But, if you've got a hyperfixation on Pokemon, just become a Pokemon expert for some kind of cultural museum or something like that. There's going to be, or I don't know, a wiki fan page moderator or something like that. There's always like something, it can be applied to somewhere. It always has a use. People look at you and go, well, that's completely out of context with the norm. No one's going to use that ever again, therefore it's now a disorder. It's like, no, actually, it's still useful. You just got to apply it to the right context. And I find that even working with my kids at the moment, my autistic kids who are like me, who are hyperfixate and do all this extra crazy crap, and we just label it as quirks, are having trouble fitting in with the norm of what we call normies, the normal kids. Now, normal is an illusion. There is no normal. I'm sorry if you want to be normal, but it doesn't exist. Everybody's different. We're in an individualistic world. As much as, countries like China and everyone wants to be the same, and there's collective cultures, we're individuals within a collective as, We're all different. We all got different fingerprints. We all come from different backgrounds, different lifestyles, different choices. If you want to go into the butterfly effect, I can, but, you know, we're not going to, okay? Right? Because it's a very short podcast and I'm nearly at my nail appointment. Goddamn priorities. Ooh, look, someone's doing planes. Sorry. That's another quirk of mine. I get distracted like a fucking squirrel. But someone's doing loop-de-loops. Oh my god, it's like the Red Baron. Have you ever seen the Red Baron plane? It's like, you know what Snoopy used to drive? You know, Snoopy Peanuts? Oh my god, they're doing loop-de-loops. Oh, I don't like this. I can't watch this. Anyway, I do like it, but I can't. But people avoid pain. I know I went off on a tangent there and I'm hyper-caffeinated right now. But anyway, there's nothing wrong with pain. It's just misused. If you can find a way to actually utilize that pain, make it, you know, transmute it into something that's useful, you will get growth out of that, for sure. People avoid it. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to admit that anything happened. I mean, I talk about shit that happened in my childhood right up until, like, last year. I still talk about everything, and I talk to myself about it because part of my brain, whether it's my autistic brain or my, you know, I don't know, just trying to figure shit out, common sense brain, it's trying to understand what the fuck happened and why the fuck it happened. And that's the human condition. We want to know why. It's part of our survivalist instinct. We want to know, first of all, identify what the fuck happened. How can I interpret it so I can maybe explain it to someone else later, pass on information. That's how we got common sense in the first place. Something bad happened, someone translated it, and we passed it on. You know, we use the common sense across generations to avoid dumb shit. Unfortunately, here and there, we miss a couple of people, they don't get the message and they die. But, you know, as morbid as it sounds, that's how the human condition carries on. And it happens in nature too, so no one's immune to it. But you want to know what it is, you want to know why it happened, and how it can be avoided maybe if it needs to be. You rationalize as well. You want to say, is it worth taking on this amount of pain to keep this thing going? And people do it with their relationships, they do it with their lifestyle habits, they do it with their employment. Oh my god, my fucking job right now. I am tired. I'm only the 4th week into a 10-week term, and I am just rationalizing, is it fucking worth it? But I think everyone does that at an adult level. While you're in the job, you're like, is it worth it? And then you get out of it, you have a little bit of space to yourself, and you know, heal yourself, and you're like, oh, all right, okay, so I'm good with this job, I'm okay with this job. You rationalize it because I need the pay, or because I like the perks, or, you know, some shit like that, or I've got this obligation where I have to feed and fuel a family unit, you know, I don't know. But, you know, everybody rationalizes a risk to reward ratio. But there are some people, and actually, to be honest, it could generalize to most of us, we're avoiding some form of pain in some area of our life. Or whether it's just stubbing your toe on the fucking bed. You know, I don't know. No, maybe that's too simple. But you know, you don't want to talk about, you know, if you got, you know, kitty fiddled as a child, right? I didn't. I got sexually assaulted as an adult. First of all, by my cousin. And when I wanted to talk about it, my mum brushed it off. She said, at least you weren't raised together. And I'm going, what the fuck? It's still A, incest, B, illegal, and C, rape. It's like all of the above tell me this is wrong. By normative standards, given my autistic brain, I still know this is wrong. Because I've been taught the rules. The rules are you don't do that. But she just brushed it off. So my little autistic brain is sitting there going, why did you do that? Why did you say that? And so I'm like, well, now, is this normal? Am I having to reevaluate my knowledge banks? And that goes into like conflict theory. And ooh, they got helicopters as well up there. Ooh, what's this about? I wonder when the Navy's going to get involved. They got a naval base soon. Ooh, butterfly. Sorry, squirrel mentality. Okay, so she brushed it off, and I was shocked at first because I was told this was wrong, and I'm like, okay, so what do I do with that? And the more things I brought to her, the more I didn't want to talk about because she would just brush it off, or it become a pissing contest, or, you know, it's like, well, you've got bad something. Oh, I've got 10 times worse. And it's like, wait, why aren't we addressing my stuff? And, you know, later you find out your mom's a complete fucking narcissist. And everything is about her. But you didn't realize that as a kid because you're thinking this is your safe place. So when I talk about horrible things that happen to me now, I do tend to internalize all the content. But right now, and then only in the last couple of years, I've got, you know, balls up to say something. So I'm making this podcast. And I might be talking to myself right now. I think I've had all of 3 listeners at this point. So I don't know how far this is going, and maybe someone can relate to it, I don't know. But, you know, it's nice to be able to air your concerns. And at the moment, I just feel like I'm talking to myself because I'm sitting in an empty car driving on a way to a nail appointment, and it's nothing. No one can hear me as far as I know. And my little brain's feeling very comfortable in just voicing shit, and I do dribble shit. And I have a horrible laugh, and it bugs me, and I know that. I've got a nervous laugh, and I know that's a symptom of generalized social anxiety, because my psych said that nervous laugh is perfectly normal and you're allowed to do that. And I was sitting there going, but my ex-husband hated it. And she's like, your ex-husband's an asshole. I'm like, yeah, I know that now, right? But yeah, I didn't know it at the time. Yeah, but people avoid their pain. You shouldn't. You avoid and should avoid giving out pain, I think, unless it's justified by knowing that that person can get something positive out of it. Growth comes from pain, obviously. Muscle growth, emotional growth. Unfortunately, every text or source of information I've ever come across when it comes to enlightenment or anything is usually from pain or something like that. It rarely is someone ever born with enlightenment. You're just, dinged. You're a Jedi Master now. The fuck? It's like, no, you've got to actually earn that shit. And most things in life are earned. Respect, love, friendship, money, hopefully sex. It's like, if you could just give that away, I'm a bit worried. Because there's usually an emotion needs to be connected with that, right? I don't know who these people do, just shag around and just not feel anything, and not feel anything afterwards as well. That blows my mind. Because as soon as I'm got to the point that I want to be, sexual with anyone, it's an emotional connection. I have to be emotionally connected to want to do it. So I don't know who can actually sleep around and not feel any kind of fallout from that. It's very odd. Anyway, some people can do it, they can just disconnect. I can't. Anyway, that's probably something I need to address at some point, although I don't think I would ever lean into just sleeping around for fun. Is it fun? Because I know that, I've been watching social groups doing it, and I know what the emotional fallout is, because they ruin their fucking lives afterwards. It just makes the situation worse. They get stuck in situationships with people that they don't love, and they get pregnant to them, and now they have to stay with them, and they got this clinger on her, and they can't have a full life because they've got some baby mama somewhere who doesn't love them but will keep taking the money off them, or the other way around, this girl gets pregnant to some asshole who just wanted a good time, and now she can't get rid of the kid, she can't get rid of him because he's paying the bills or some shit like that. There's always some horrible thing where sleeping around doesn't pay off. And if it's not physical evidence, it's emotional evidence. You take on the trauma of being abandoned or being hurt, or rarely is it you get away scot-free, clean-free. Even hookers got to get paid, right? So it's like, I don't want to even know who they have to shag. I can tell you it's probably not quality control. I don't know how they do it. I don't. Anyway, but people actually avoid pain. You shouldn't avoid all pain. Muscle growth, emotional growth, enlightenment. I am enjoying the sort of Taoist approach to enlightenment at the moment. If you want to go in esoteric terms, I had my third eye opened when I was about 7 in salt water in the ocean. That was fun. Ouch. Here's some salt water to clean it. Fuck, that hurts. Yeah, that was fun. Anyway, I won't go into it too much. It's a bit personal. At this point, you're saying this bitch is crazy. And I'm like, well, a little bit, yeah. But on what terms? Because there's bad crazy, which is like the Joker, and there's good crazy, which is like Phoebe from Friends. So what kind of crazy do you want me to be? I'm more like Phoebe, to be honest. I'm a bit weird, spiritual, and you're going to be like, oh god, she's a spiritual chick, she's into horoscopes and shit. It's like, fucking am, and I take ownership of that. Anyway, I didn't give you shit for being an atheist. I didn't give you shit for being, I don't know, Catholic. I don't know. I don't give anyone shit for that, to be honest. It's weird. I just like, if that's what you want, that's what you want. Okay. As long as it's not hurting anyone, it's adult and consensual, I don't particularly give a shit. It's not hurting anyone. Hurt is the main thing. Do no harm is the main thing for my life at the moment. That's relatively new. Because there was a point when I was just angry. I am still angry, but I was just angry, destructive angry. But I didn't do anything about it. I just sort of internalized and took it out on myself. That doesn't work. That does inflict pain, which is it's harder to heal, I think. At least if someone punches you, and I'm speaking from experience somewhere. If, like, my mum used to hit us mercilessly. She didn't hold back. She took all her anger out on us because she was in an unhappy situationship with my dad, essentially. They called it a marriage. It was a case of her signing on to a marriage that she didn't particularly deserve because my dad lied about what he was willing to do, and then bailed on it because he's got Peter Pan syndrome. And he has all these great ideas, but does he ever see them through? No. The marriage was one of them. So she got trapped in this. She had 4 kids. Then she had to go retrain to become a teacher herself and work and carry the rest of us family and him because he didn't want to work. So if you've listened to the other podcasts, that is a very short summary of how fucked up and painful marriages can be if they take, a sharp left turn because somebody negs on the deal. And then, of course, she took it out on us because that's how she was taught. She deemed it disciplining us. I know that she came from the same background with her parents. Not her dad, but her mom used to beat the shit out of her. My dad was never allowed to hit us. He found other ways to fuck with us. Not sexually, but, mentally, psychologically berserker. So we spent the majority of our life afraid about that. And our mom, actually, come to think of it. So we lived in fear, most of us. I think we all moved out at around 19. But rather than hide that kind of shit now, we're all talking about it. As adult kids, if that makes sense. There's 4 of us. As adult kids, we're all now talking about it. My sister's just started her therapy. I've already done mine. My brother and older sister are, they've yet to even look at the problem. My sister just internalizes hers. My brother is so easygoing. He's just trying to, make everything work. He wants just peace at this point. He's similar to me in that he just wants peace. I was like that in my marriage. I've had a traumatic background. I just want peace at this point. I'm willing to let shit slide. And he does the same. He's taken it further than me because he's still with his passive-aggressive wife who treats him like shit. And she's got a nag on her. She's like, oh, Joel. But she's underhanded with her controlling techniques. And she's subtle about it, seemingly. Unless you're looking at it objectively, she's subtle about it. And he's not willing to let it go yet. So that's his call, that's his decision. But that's how you can make a choice to carry on the pain from your parents, or you can choose to go the other way. My brother and I went the other way. Actually, all of us kids went the other way, in different forms. My younger sister decided not to get married, not to go dating. She just wanted to travel the world. She moved to England for a bit. It was meant to be a year. She didn't come back. I'm like, fair play. I think she's been over there 6-7 years now, actually. My older sister, so I'm the third born. I'm the second from the bottom. That makes sense. I'm the spare middle child. There's 4 of us. Second youngest. My older sister had kids, and she came out as a really great mum, actually. She looked at what my mum did and said, no, I'm not doing that. And she went her own way, and she came out softer, and I learned a lot of stuff from her about how to be a mum if I ever needed to be. And I took a lot of that into the classroom because I know the kids I work with come from fucked up backgrounds like I did. And I use a lot of her skill sets and skills I picked up from my EAs, of course. These guys are amazing. They're education assistants. They're all mums. They've all probably come from fucked up backgrounds themselves, especially in the rougher schools. And they are some of the warmest, nicest people you'll ever meet, I guarantee it. I had one EA called Kat B who's just broken her leg, and I feel so bad about it because, she's getting a bit older now. She's a heavy-set woman, but she's fucking gorgeous. And I don't like seeing her in pain. I really don't. I love that woman. She's just fucked her knee. Either that or she's had a surgery on it. I got a picture from her. But the things I learned from her teaching while I was working with her alongside her, it's not just a teaching position as a teacher, you're also learning from other people and the kids yourself. It's an ongoing, lifelong learning thing. You pick it up as you go, and nothing they teach you at uni is going to prepare you for what you fucking face in the classroom. It's definite theory versus practice. You might do what they call an apprenticeship now, which is a practical assessment. And it gives you a glimpse as to what you might be facing, but until you're on the job, you won't know. You just won't know. And as much as celebrities like to come in and say, we owe the teachers so much, aren't they wonderful? Oh, I want to look into early childhood leaders. Like, you fucking don't. Don't bullshit us. We know what the job is. We were there. There's the fakery of PR gives me the shits about that. You don't know what the fucking job is. You do. I'm gonna make early life. What is it? And I'm thinking of one person in particular there, and it gives me the shits every time this bitch opens her mouth. I'm gonna make early childhood learning my lifelong work. It's like, excuse me? You've never set foot in a fucking classroom. So you've got all the stress of actual teachers who do the actual job and early childhood people and deal with all the trauma and shit the kids go through and all this much more backstory to the reality that is the job. And there's thousands of things that these fuckers apply this to, like doctors and nurses and rescue people and stuff like that. But because they've got a stage, oh my God, don't even get me started. Anyway, it just negates what we're actually doing. It just gives you the shits because some shithead can stand on a stage, say, this is my lifelong project, my lifelong work, and then take the credit. It's like, excuse me? You didn't do the work. How come you get to take the credit? Oh, Christ. It seems as bullshit. And all it is from fucking the right guy at the right time. That's what it is. It's like, you didn't actually earn any of that. Nothing you've got is anything you've earned. I could go on for days. Sorry, caffeine ramp. Ranting. But we shouldn't be avoiding pain. I know, and you have a right to get angry if you're in pain. Absolutely, if something absolutely fucked up happens to you, and I have the hardest time when someone does something to me and they say, oh, you've got to forgive them. I'm sorry? What? Should I just forgive my cousin who raped me? Should I just forgive my ex-boyfriend who coercively raped me? My parents abused me? It's like, when I got assaulted in 2008, I should just forgive them. It's like, it's not worth anything. Like, it didn't happen. It's okay that they did it, and fuck it, let them do it again. It's like, I have trouble with forgiveness. I don't know how to. It's probably not a healthy way to do it. Or maybe it is, because it's a basic human reaction to be angry when you're in pain. And they say you should forgive to heal yourself. I'm going, it doesn't heal me though. It makes me relive trauma and makes me think that they are okay with what they did. And when they apologize, it has the same weight. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. It's like, you don't mean that. You just want to alleviate your own conscience. It's very weird for me when someone says you got to forgive them. I was like, I don't, actually. You don't have to forgive them. You don't have to do shit to help anyone that does something horrible to you. And if they get their ass kicked, that's their karma. They probably deserved it, I'm sorry. But you don't do nasty things to people and expect nasty things. Like, expect nice things back. Right, I'm going to have to leave it there, I'm afraid. I know it's a bit of a dark note, I left that on. I'm hoping you guys have a fantastic day. I don't want you to be pain avoidant, okay? Not all pain is bad. Not all pain is good, okay? You can't pick and choose, but I'll tell you what, all pain is a learning experience, and you'll definitely learn, firstly, your strengths and how to overcome shit that you go through. It's not a bad thing, okay? I want you to have a fantastic day. It is Saturday for me. I think it's possibly Saturday for you. I don't know if I upload this today. Have a great one, okay? Take it easy. I'll see you on the way back.